Hello everybody, it's Slava from Fuzziliers here, and I want to tell you a word or two about our debut album, coming in less than 2 weeks on 12th of June, next Wednesday. It's called Sail the Seven Seas, and we started recording it 4.5 years ago. It's been a while, ain't it? Back in those days there was no band, no Fuzziliers. I've been aiming to do a solo record. I was like, I can do a record by myself. I don't need nobody. Man, I was wrong. I needed somebody, you know, we all need somebody. The first thing I found a bit too risky was playing drums by myself. So I love playing drums, but it might require too much editing afterwards. So I asked a dearest friend of mine, Semyon Fedotov, jazz drummer from St. Petersburg, to record the drums, which he managed in a couple of days for all the 10 songs. Then I rented the bass, Rickenbacker of course. You can't go wrong with Rickenbacker, and recorded bass parts also in a couple of days, because I couldn't afford to rent it for more than that. Then switched to guitars, which is arguably the most enjoyable and funny part of the process. And it's hard to remember, but I suppose we were almost done with guitars when the lockdown happened. So it all went on pause for a while. And yeah, we started recording even before the lockdown. Could you remember those times? It was completely different life, different people around, everything different. That's basically how it all began. And yeah, I want to introduce the band behind the record, and first person to start with is of course Semyon Fedotov, already mentioned in the previous video. And I can vividly remember that moment. It was summer 2020, COVID restrictions somehow softened, and I dropped by his place, and I had pre-mixes of 10 songs we've already recorded, drums, bass and guitars, and we've listened to it, and I was like, man, we should set up a proper band, play gigs and stuff. He was like, yeah, it actually sounds well, let's go. And yeah, back to recording. Not only he played drums, but he provided a hell lot of percussions which is all around the place, every song. Some congos, wood blocks, cowbells, shakers, tambourines. But what is even more unusual, he plays a ruler on Mention Me. Like, do you know a lot of songs with a ruler on them? I do not. Moreover, he even provided flutes for This Is Love, which is already out, and in case you hadn't yet, you should check out our video. It's lovely, beautiful, and we're proud of it. So the next person to mention here is Misha Pashkov. As I told you, after lockdown, it was summer 2020, I was sick and tired of sitting home and I wanted to play a proper rock gig. And I asked a friend of mine, Boris from band Underhood, actually check them out, they're super great, for a support slot at their upcoming gig. And he said yes, of course. And at that point I understood that I don't have no band, but I do have songs. I've already started recording them. I asked Semyon Fedotov to join me on drums, and just met Misha at some jazz gig. I asked him to join the band on bass guitar. So August 2020 we played our kind of zero gig. We hadn't had the band name Fuzziliers back at that point. We call it Slavic Group, like my Instagram is called since then. As for recording, at that point I've already recorded Rickenbacker bass for most of the album, but a bit later on we decided to add 3 more songs, for which Misha provided bass too. So we had 13 songs in total, and we decided to split them between EP, Would You Believe, which we released in November 2023, and this upcoming album, Sail the Seven Seas. Yes, and this episode is dedicated to the man of multiple names. You can call him Zhorsky, you call him Georgi, even Gashan. He joined our band around winter 2021, invited by Semyon, with whom they played in Red Box band for years, some Irish folk punk. And it took us almost a year to figure out all the piano and organ and keyboards parts for the songs, find the proper sounds. And moreover, Zhorsky even brought 2 of his songs. I suppose they were written some 10 years ago from that point. So they might be the oldest one. One of them, Would You Believe, gave the name to our EP. And around April 2021 we had our first gig as a quartet, and by that point we came up with this Fuzziliers name. Also, let's start trying recording vocals, and I understood that I completely sucks in vocals, and I went home practicing. We were about to finish producing the album in 2021. We even released our first single, Try, in August 2021, I suppose. Now it's remastered and included into album because kind of the conception of the sound changed. Yeah, mostly because of these arrangement delays and especially vocal coaching I had to take, released delayed. And so in the beginning of 2022 the war started, so we moved to Istanbul, and gladly enough Zhorsky followed me like in a couple of weeks after I arrived here. But so we landed in Istanbul in March 2022, me and Jora, but we've been so lost and destroyed by thinking constantly about Russian invasion to Ukraine. We've been thinking like we couldn't sing these cheerful songs about love and how the good will win when evil is winning all around the place. We didn't do pretty much nothing for half a year, but in October Misha and Semyon arrived to Istanbul too. However, as we gathered here in Istanbul, we decided to play a Fuzziliers gig. And even though soon after that gig Semyon Fedotov went back to St. Petersburg, we've just met another Semyon, or Simon as you might know him, Shiryaev, who joined the band. And even like 3 full years after we started recording the album, he still provided some harmony vocals for the recording because it wasn't finished yet. So we continued like that until Jora left us for St. Petersburg around a couple of months ago. And now we're back to trio format. Well, to me it sounds a bit better than it was in the very beginning. And I'll mention more people who contributed to this recording. First of all, Danilov, not only the sound engineer behind the board, but also a producer, moreover my vocal teacher. We worked a lot together in studio. The next one is Misha Yefremov, who mixed and mastered this album and EP and all our live recordings, pretty much everything we put out during these years. And also my beloved wife, Sasha Veselova, who not only provided her support through all this time, but also painted all our cover arts for singles, for EP, for this album, most of the gig posters, and a lot more stuff, including this beautiful, I don't know what it is. Besides, we've got one guest musician on the record. It's Nikita Arefyev, our dearest friend, jazz pianist from St. Petersburg. He's playing grand piano on Sail the Seven Seas, eponymous track opening the record. And also thank you all the beautiful people around there supporting us through all these years. Hope you all will enjoy the album Sail the Seven Seas, out on 12th of June, in Wednesday. And at the end I'd like to show you this choir of our dearest friends singing all together for the final song.
For so long I have been scared. For so long I have been scared. For so long I have been scared. We can change the world again.